Hello, everyone. Mrs. Lemansky here. Today, I want to take you through a brief tutorial on how to use your Google Drive. This is something that the teachers use all the time, but it is probably the most underused tool by students. And it really can do so much, and I want to show you a little bit about it today. Think of Google Drive like your virtual backpack. It is your file cabinet. If you've ever worked on a regular computer and saved things to your computer, to your hard drive, Google Drive works in the same way, except that it's all stored on the cloud. It's all stored virtually. And therefore, you can access it anytime, anywhere, from any device, as long as you have a connection to the internet. So, to take a look at how we even get there, I'm going to start on our classroom landing page because that is where most of you are starting from on whatever device you are on. Okay, so I am in my daughter's classroom landing page right now to show you the student view. And you will see it has her homeroom and all of her unified arts and specials, and it looks pretty familiar to everyone. To get to your Google Drive, you are just going to go up here to the upper right-hand corner to your waffle menu, your 9-dot Google menu next to your icon. And you're going to click on that menu, and you're going to see a lot of different options. Today, we're going to focus on Drive. So it might be right here in your menu. It might be down here. This might show up a little differently for each person, but you're going to find the icon that looks like this multicolored triangle and says Drive, and you're going to click on it. And it will bring you to this page, which is your main Google Drive landing page. And you will see that it automatically starts you in something called My Drive. That is your own personal file cabinet. Okay, so right now my daughter has nothing set up per se because she hasn't needed to use this. So the first thing I want to show you is that you have a folder and it is called Classroom. This is a really important folder. Do not delete this folder. Okay, this is the folder where things from your classroom might end up getting saved, and you don't want to delete that because it's directly linked to your Google Classroom. All right, I'm going to show you a few quick tips that are just sort of fun if you want to make things stand out. Number one is that if you right-click on a folder, you get a drop-down menu of options. I'm going to go down to change color. I want the classroom menu to stand out because I want to make sure I never delete this. So I'm going to change it to red. And you will notice that the file folder is now red. You can do that for any folder you create. So now I have these other things that are saved on my drive, and I don't really want just a ton of files on my drive. I would like to create some different folders to organize my drive. In order to do that, I'm just going to go right up here on the upper left-hand side to this plus sign that says New. And I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to select Folder because I want to make a new folder. Okay. I'm going to call this one Schedules. Most people have some schedules they might need to save. And then I'm going to click Create. And that is going to make, as you see, a brand new folder entitled Schedules. So down here in my files that have been saved to the Google Drive already, I do have a schedule. I'm just going to click on it and drag it to the Schedules folder. And now it is organized in that folder. Okay, so then let's say I want to make another one that's just titled Classwork. I go back up to my plus sign and I click New, and then I click Folder again, and I am going to title this Classwork. Now, if you're an old, and then I'm going to click Create. Now, if you're an older student and you have many different classes, let's say you have ELA, math, science, history, etc., you could create a new folder for each subject. left. And then you could save any of your docs or slides or drawings or whatever you're using in those specific folders. Just an easier way to organize your drive so you don't have a ton of files just listed and hanging out that are difficult to find. So now for my daughter, she's in kindergarten. I'm just going to have classwork, and I'm going to take the different pieces of classwork and I'm just going to drag and drop them into that folder so that I know where they are now. Okay, there we go. And then you will see that she now, or did we not drag that in? The PDFs I created are in classwork. This one's not going, which tells me something, which tells me that it's probably not something that I made or she made directly in her Google Drive. It means it is something that was probably shared with her. So you're going to notice over on the side menu, there's another option called Shared with Me. These are things you're going to see that all of a sudden she has a ton of files because this is every assignment that has ever been shared with her through her classroom or through Gmail, through her teachers, okay? Now, you cannot just move a lot of these files into folders because they're not really owned by you. They were shared with you. Okay, so sometimes you can. So if I right click on a file, okay, and I don't see that this move to option is in bold, that means I can't move it because I don't own it, okay? But if I want to be able to access that file really regularly or be able to check back on it for some reason, I can do what's called adding a shortcut to the drive, and I would click on that. And then I would select where I want it to go. I want it to go to my drive, and I want to be able to see it in my classwork folder. Okay, so that's where I want to see it. So then I'm going to just click Add Shortcut. And you're going to see it didn't actually move it. It didn't actually take it away from here. But if I go back to my drive now, and I go into my classwork folder, it is here with this little arrow. And all that means is that it's a shortcut. So Google Drive isn't actually moving it, but it's making it so you can click on it from wherever you want, wherever you know you can find it, and it will open the document. It can do that because everything is stored in the cloud. Okay, does that make sense to everyone? I hope so. Another fun thing that you can do when you're organizing your folders, besides changing the color, is that you can add little emojis or icons if that helps you remember what's in them. So all I'm going to do is right click on that folder, and I'm going to go down to rename because I want to change how it's named. And I want to make sure that I never delete this classroom folder. So I want an icon there that tells me not to delete it. So I'm going to go down to my emoji keyboard at the bottom, and I am going to find the emoji that I want. I think this circle with a line through it is a good emoji to tell me do not delete this folder. And then I'm going to click OK. So this is a quick tip. If you're on a tablet or a phone, of course, you have access to the emojis. But if you're on a computer, how do you get an emoji? So this is a fun thing to have, whether you're using Gmail or you're renaming a folder or a document in your Google Drive. If you're on a Chromebook, you can get the emoji keyboard, because right now, if you're on your Chromebook, you might not see this circle down at the bottom that says US, okay? If you want that, you're just going to go over to this menu in the bottom right corner, okay, where your battery and your Wi-Fi signal and the time of day is shown. You're going to click on that little menu bar. Then you're going to go up to your gear, your settings, and click on that. Then you're going to go over here to advanced. and you're going to click that arrow so you get a drop-down menu under Advanced. You're going to go to Languages and Input, and very first thing you see up here, Languages and Input US Keyboard. You're going to click that side arrow. On yours, this little button at the bottom is turned off right now. And you will notice that when I turned mine off, my little icon down here that had the US in it disappeared. So for you, all you're doing is coming to this menu and clicking that on, and you will suddenly see that US in a circle icon at the bottom. Now, anytime you are typing and you want to use an emoji, you just click on that and then select the emoji icon, and it brings you to an emoji menu. If you're on a Windows computer and you want a shortcut to an emoji keyboard, you are just going to hit the Windows button and the period at the same time, and an emoji keyboard is going to pop up for you as well. So just sort of a fun thing for students to be able to put emojis in if they're not on a tablet or a phone. Okay, so we've added some folders, we've organized our work. The other great thing about being in Google Drive is, of course, like in all the Google apps, you still have access to your menu. So if you're doing something in your Google Drive and you need to suddenly go back to Classroom or go to a Meet, you can do that from your waffle menu in the corner. But the other thing you can do in Google Drive, if you're an older student and you need to create a slideshow or a doc for an assignment, when you're in your Drive, you're just going to come over to that new button that we use to make a folder, and you're going to click on it, but you're going to go down to whatever you need to create. So if you need to create a new doc, you would just go right down to Google Docs and click it, and it would bring you to a brand new Google Doc that you could make and then attach to your assignment for your teacher. So Google Drive is also just a great starting place if you have to create an assignment from scratch to turn into your teacher. And then, of course, after you've created it, it's going to show up down here in Files, and you can just drag and drop it to a folder where you will know that it is always kept. It's just sort of an organizational tool so you don't have all those files just listed and you can't find anything. So I hope that that was a good introduction to Google Drive. It's a really useful tool. I know teachers use it all the time. Students, maybe not as much, but it is super useful, particularly for older students who are creating their own assignments. All right, so everybody, I hope that you have a great rest of your day. And until next time, I will see you soon.